Thanks for joining us today on this workshop hosted by VA Professional and myself, Steph Middleton-Foster. Today we're going to be talking about how to win awards and how to use those as positive publicity, free publicity for your business, and how to use it to supercharge your marketing strategy. I'm joined by a panel of guests that I'm excited to introduce you to, guys who are judges, fellow finalists and award-winning businesses, and they've got some real insights and some nuggets for us as to how they've used awards positively in their own business and how you can do the same. Now, a little disclaimer: even the world's best virtual assistant messes up sometime, and you will notice that we're missing a small part of the recording at the beginning of the workshop. When we recorded it live, there was a little bit of a problem, so I'm sorry about that. But what I would like to do is introduce you to our guests, because that is the bit that's missing from the recording. So we've got Katie Stone PA. She's been in business for about 18 months, and in that short time she's already been shortlisted for 2 fairly prestigious awards for her business. She's going to talk to us a little bit about what it is that holds people back from entering, why people don't put themselves or their businesses forward, and perhaps ways to overcome it. We've also then got Paddy White. Paddy has run her virtual assistant agency for around 8 years, but actually 2021 was the first time she's ever put herself forward. And it took quite a lot of encouragement for her to do so. She's got a lovely story around that. And we're interested to hear from Paddy, you know, the reasons why she didn't do it sooner, but more importantly, the real positive impact it's had on her business and her relationship with her customers, which is a real testament to why we should all be doing this as part of our marketing strategies. I've also got Amanda Johnson joining us. So Amanda used to run a VA agency and now runs the VA coaching and training company, and a very, very well established coaching and training company for our industry. As well as that, she has also recently taken over the running of the UK VA Awards and the UK VA Conference. So we're really excited to hear from Amanda about things from the other side of the table. What is it that gets judges excited? What can we do to make our application really stand out for a judge, you know, to make it jump out and resonate with them? And also, what do judges look for in general? So Amanda will talk to us a little bit about that. And then, of course, myself, so Steph Middleton-Foster. I am editor of VA Pro Magazine and I run the VA Professional Network. I also own 2 virtual assistant companies. And over the years, I've been fortunate enough to have been shortlisted or to have won over 10 awards or award-winning titles for my business. And so I'm sure there'll be some insights that I can offer into what it takes to consistently put yourself forward, to consistently show up and land at the top of the judges' pile. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to share some of that with you today also. And so then, without further ado, I think we'll move on straight into the recording. We started off with a question: what is it that holds people back from entering themselves or their businesses for awards? And how, what are the positive benefits of doing so? And so we're going to hand straight over to Katie, who's going to talk to us about
that. So I think that might be part of it, is people are waiting to be nominated and not realizing that you should just go ahead and do it yourself.
Yeah, I think for me it was more a case of for a long time I didn't think I was worthy of being VA of the Year, because there's so many amazing VAs out there. And when I started, I was part of Amanda's group and a load of other VA groups, and I did training with lots of VAs, and everybody just seemed so much better than me. So for me to put myself up for a VA of the Year award, I didn't think I was suitable, or I had the qualifications to be a VA of the Year. So I just didn't do it. And I always looked at it when people announce that they finalists or shortlisted or whatever, I go, oh, what do they have that I don't? But still didn't actually do anything about it. But I think with this year, it was more a case of trying to move the business to a new level, and awards was one of the things. And to be fair, the only reason I actually did it was because Daniel called me and said, come on, you need to do this. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't do awards. And he was like, you should do awards. You're amazing. I've known you for a while now and you need to. And I'm like, no, Daniel, no. And I put the phone down saying, not doing it. And I spoke to a client directly after, just giggling to myself. And he said, what are you giggling about? And I was like, oh, this guy called me and he wants me to do this. And he said, you should do it. It's like, no. And he's like, yeah, you do it or I'm going to do it for you. Okay. And that's why I did it. So it's somebody else having the belief in yourself as well. But I needed to have that belief that I could do it, basically.
Absolutely. I didn't actually apply for VA of the year, it has to be said. For the West Midlands one, I put myself in for newcomer because I was like, why would I apply for VA of the year having been in business at that point for less than a year?
Yeah.
And it was Daniel who emailed me and said, we shoved you into the VA of the year category. And I was like, oh God, they must be really like short on people perhaps, because why do they want me? But I think a lot of us do, like, especially people working from home who don't have necessarily a team around them might feel that way. It's hard to know how good you are or whether you're good or not because you are working in isolation. Like, I think that can be quite hard too, in terms of working out how good you are and judging yourself in terms of other people. All you see what's on social media, isn't it? And other people being awesome on social media.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that sort of has come out from the awards is because, the process for this one in particular was just phenomenal. The things you had to do to get to being a finalist, you had to analyze your business. You had to go back to your customers and say, am I doing a good job? And if I am, what am I doing? And then suddenly all my customers were like, pouring out all these compliments and I had to go, oh, I am good at this. So it also, as the competition went, it boosted my confidence in the business, and it boosted the way I speak to people, the way I spoke to new customers, because suddenly I was like, well, everybody else thinks I'm good, so I must be good at this. So that was great for the award thing. It gave me confidence in the business, and loads of them, I've got customers that I started with 8 years ago. So they're like, why are you asking me this now? Surely you're doing a good job. I'm still with you. And it's like, yeah, okay.
It's good to hear it, I think.
It's a really good validation of what you're doing, because you have to get other people to validate it so that you can be validated in the award almost. And it just made real good sense to do it. And
what sort of knock-on effect then, if we're looking at, reasons why you should enter business awards, that seems like as good a reason as any, but what kind of knock-on effect has that had then on your business, your relationship with the clients?
Really good, because what I've decided from then is some of the clients I haven't spoken to in a while, because we just do the work, and we don't go back and say what went well, what didn't work. So what I'm doing now is I've gone back to all of them and I've said, right, we've had this conversation about how well we're doing, but since we started working 4 years ago or X amount of years ago, we've now got people in the team who does this, and we've got people in the team who does this. So we've had conversations and we've upscaled the work we do with current clients as well. So our workload has increased just because of that, just because we had that conversation about, this is what the business is doing. We're now up for this award. We've been told we're really good. So, here's more services. Can we put the services in your business? And yeah, I would say a huge percentage of the clients have upscaled the amount of work we do with them. But also it's the confidence when you approach new clients. It's like, what, if you don't want the service, that's fine. Obviously you don't tell them that. But, it's the confidence in your head where you go, what, if this one doesn't work, there will be more. And so you talk to them with confidence and a bit more like we're not desperate for business. And that really comes across to them as a customer as well. When they're buying, if you don't come across as you're desperate for business, it's a bit more positive, I think, for my side.
Absolutely. Okay, brilliant. I mean, that's a really, really great insight into why we should be entering awards. So then if we go back a little bit then to the reasons why, Amanda's asked a question here actually in the chat for those of you that are watching. We'd love to know, if you've not entered, what's stopping you? I certainly think fear and perhaps imposter syndrome, as we've talked about, is a big is a big issue for people, you know, feeling like, am I good enough, or I'm not worthy. But where do we find that you know, the courage to actually step forward if you've never done it before?
Steph, can I ask you a question? I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm really sorry to interrupt and put you on the spot. But if you think, because you've entered lots of awards over the years, and think back to when you did your first one, what was that like then? Because actually, I know when I did my very first one, Katie hit the nail on the head. The having to self-nominate bit scared me stupid, because I wasn't used to somebody saying, well, go and stroke your own ego, go and sell yourself. So how was your first one? What's people are just thinking that question through? Because
you're absolutely right, and I think the self-nomination is the big thing, particularly as somebody, I mean, I'm naturally quite shy and quite an introvert. Blowing my own trumpet is so far out of my comfort zone, like you wouldn't believe. I just don't do it. And actually having to sit down and say, I'm really good at this, even when clients might have been telling me that I was, felt really, really uncomfortable. And, you know, actually with me, I was in a similar sort of position as Paddy and Katie, in that somebody came to me and said, you need to enter for this award. I think the first one I won was actually 2012, and it was Super Achiever of the Year for a startup. You know, I was a startup VA at that point. And they came to me and said, you know, you need to enter. We really think you're good at this. And I ended up having to get somebody else to write my application for me. Even though I was self-nominating, I actually got them to write it for me. And then I just went and edited it, because there was no way I could have wrote words like that about myself. And that's a big deal. And I think actually having a critical friend to help you probably is a good idea, especially if you're feeling a bit nervous about it. Go out to your customers first, go out to your peers, to other VAs, people in your network, and get them to write it for you.
And I think that'll come out later. But what I wanted, actually, you hit the nail on the head, is that most VAs are introverts. Mm-hmm. And most of us don't like selling ourselves. And having known you over the years, I knew that was also a factor, because do you know what? I am a massive introvert, and I literally have to put my big girl knickers on to do anything that's like this. And I remember doing all three of your interviews with the West Midlands Awards, and we were all like, yeah, I'm quite shy, I'm all thing. And I'm like, do you know what? So are we, as were the judges. We were all like, no, don't enjoy doing that. So the thing to remember here is we all feel it. And that sort of Susan Jeffries, feel the fear and do it anyway, is a real good sort of analogy to take forwards. Is, yeah, do you know what? Even the judges have days when they are underconfident and they're introverts and don't want to do it. So actually, still do it. Because actually, as you've all three proven, and in particular Katie and Paddy, is actually, my mum used to always say, it's the taking part that counts. And I used to, as a kid, it used to drive me potty. But do you know what? This process is all about that. It is the taking part that counts.
And I go so far as to say the benefits come. It doesn't actually matter if you win or not, just purely having applied. And if you get shortlisted, then great. But the business benefits to that, and the personal benefits as well, as we've talked about in terms of confidence and things, you'll get those anyway. And I would say the more you do it, the easier it gets. I mean, I've lost count of the number of awards I've actually applied for over the years. You know, I might say that I've got 10 titles, but I must have put forward 50 entries over the years. And you do get to the point where it's just, you know, it's just another part of business, basically. It becomes part of your marketing strategy. And it's a really, really nice thing, you know, when they do come off.
And once you've done it once as well, I think, like, you've got, like, no award is going to be so different that they're going to ask such different things. Once you've written it out once, all the things about your business, you can always take those things and rehash them for the next award. It's a lot of it's about, I used to do it quite a lot when I was a teacher, applying for jobs. You had to look at the specific school and work out what their priorities were and what they were most looking for. And then you take the personal statement that you had written, the generalized personal statement, and move it around and personalize it to that particular school. And that's how I made it work. Like once I'd done one, which I think was for the Digital Women Awards, I had the thing written then it was just a case of finding the other awards, working out what their particular thing that they were looking for was, and rehashing that one thing. Like there's no sense reinventing the wheel and having to write a different thing every time. So every time you do it, you get a little bit better at it and a little bit better at looking at that particular thing and going, oh, I can see that's what they're looking for. Like they're looking particularly for, I don't know, people who are working from home, or they're looking particularly for people who had a journey into being a VA, or, you know, all of these things. And as you get to work out what the particular awards are looking for, you get better and better at crafting your story around that. But I don't think you'd ever start from zero again once you've done it once, and your confidence grows. I think that's probably most obvious from you, Steph, because I don't know about you, Paddy. Amanda will tell you, like my interview, first Microsoft Teams did me wrong and didn't tell me that I'd been logged in, and so there was a good 30 seconds of me staring at another tab like that. And then I'm a nervous talker as well, so you cannot shut me up. So the 10 minutes of interview was like half an hour later, and they were like, "Shut up." So like, you don't have to be amazing at it. People understand that you're human and you're fallible and that you're frightened, and that's okay. I think that's part of the nice thing about meeting other people, isn't it, is realizing that they're human too. So yeah, I really enjoyed every bit of it. It was terrifying, but I enjoyed it. I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, same. I really enjoyed it, but I think also it was the way in which it was done that I really enjoyed it. They made it easy for us. We knew where we were at every point, so that's what made it easy for me. And I enjoyed the whole process. And they did a lot of promotion about it as well. So, you know, you felt like your name was out there, but you didn't really do much about it. So that was quite good as well, because I didn't want to put it out there as much as they did. Not I didn't want to. I didn't feel comfortable doing it, because the blowing your own horn sort of thing, I'm not really comfortable with. So when they were doing it, I was like, oh, this is great. I don't have to do anything. So that was good.
It's good. And we'll come to that in a minute when we talk about some of the benefits of winning awards, and then also where to look for them. So we're going to move on to the next question in a minute, but I just wanted to look at some of the responses from people in the chat. So Jenna says that I haven't started yet. I haven't applied for any yet. I only started in mid-October. So still a baby business, but definitely something to aspire to. And then interestingly here, so Sarah said, I need to set aside time to read the application process. Now that's an interesting point, because I think that's true, that for some awards, they're very time consuming to enter. And it's a big commitment. You know, I've certainly spent hours, in some cases, hours or even days putting together award entries in the past. So, I mean, I guess from my point of view with that one, it depends on how you look at it. And it's definitely setting aside the time's important, but it also depends on how you categorize that time. For me, business awards almost fall into part of my marketing strategy. So it becomes part of the time I set aside to do marketing. For other people, it's less, less important, I suppose, or less high up their priority list. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Yeah, for me, it was that was my promotional information for that period. Everything was sort of related to that. And when I needed to work on something for the award, it was also bringing up information. So that's when I had like the testimonials that came through that I was then using as part of my social media posts, because it was part of the process. And you had to talk about something that you did, you know, when you started, why you started. So I did a post about, that process, why I started my business. So it was all sort of part of marketing yourself and marketing your business at the time for me as well.
I'd love to say I was that organized, man, but I think because you guys have been in business for so much longer than I have, and so you will have these things developed already, like a marketing strategy and time set aside to do this and time set aside to do that. It wasn't strategy,
it was just like, I need to put something out there.
I love it. But yeah, no, mine, like I was at that point, I wasn't at capacity because I hadn't even been going 6 months, I think, when I put the thing in. And so I had time to do it. We were in lockdown as well, and my husband was teaching, so he was home looking after the kids. So I had time to focus on the business at that point and not enough clients. So I was very lucky in one respect that I was able to make that time. I think if I had to do the same again now, I would really struggle because I'm bursting at the seams and I've got another discovery call on Thursday. So I'm kind of at a different point now where, yeah, I can see where you're coming from. Finding the time to do that sort of stuff is hard. But like I said last time, I think once you've done it once and put the time into it, at that point, you're never going to reinvent the wheel again. Like any awards that I apply for going into the next season, I'll be able to use what I've already done as a starting point and jump off from there and hopefully spend a little bit less time, although from what Steph's just said, probably not.
Well, it depends on the award as well, and it depends what the criteria is. Some are more in depth than others, for sure. Okay, and so then we've got a couple of other comments here actually. So Sarah and Lou both said actually when they've looked into awards, their impression is that some of them are like only for UK based VAs or for people in the West Midlands, for example, the one that we've been talking about. And I guess that will be the case. You know, some of them will be regional awards or specific to a certain industry. But I think there probably will also be awards that are national or international. I mean, certainly for us as virtual assistants. So at the online VA conference every year, they host 2 awards. So they've got one for sort of newer startup businesses, the Janet Jordan Achievement Award, and then also the Thomas Leonard sort of lifetime award for VAs.
Of which you are a winner.
I am.
I will add that bit in because I know you won't share that bit. Of which you are a winner, OIVAC Awards.
Thanks, Amanda.
You're gonna regret inviting me, aren't you? This is it. It's like,
but do you know
Amanda,
what? This is
get back in your box.
This is sometimes what you need, isn't it? You need other people to almost champion you when you're not confident doing it yourself. And that's the beauty about having an industry like this and a network like that we've got. Even if you're not going to stand up and shout about it yourself, there'll be one of us that will do it for you. And I think that's a good thing. That's a wonderful thing actually to have, isn't it?
That's quite an amazing thing, to be in a group of people that are not trying to push each other down. And that I found really amazing. Whoever you speak to within the industry, they all try to help each other. And when you go to, you know, any of the VA groups, or it's all so supportive, which is great when you don't necessarily always have a team of your own, or you don't have an HR manager where you could go and have a rant to, or you don't have a staff or anything, you know, especially the people who are new in this business. It's so easy to just ask the question and somebody would help you out. It's not like, oh, if I give them that answer, then that's one less customer for me. It's like, no, there's enough food for everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah, sure. And it's not just in the VA industry as well. So Pam Shemar's here with us this morning, and I actually met Pam when I was part of the NatWest Entrepreneur Accelerator, which is a support group for business owners in general, not just VAs. And I certainly know, you know, the network that I've developed there. And Pam's been brilliant, you know, championing me in the past and pushing me forward even when I don't want to. So I think it's also a good idea to sometimes look outside of our industry. You know, although you're a virtual assistant, you're also a business owner, and there's a much wider world out there and especially when it comes to awards, of things that you can be putting yourself forward for.
Yeah, I think at the moment as well with VA awards, they do tend to be bundled up inside other awards. Like the West Midlands ones weren't VA awards, it was the West Midlands PA awards, and it was bundled up with so many other mainly women who were doing PA jobs here, there and everywhere, and VA was a very, very small part of that. And I think, like, yeah, Amanda and probably the VA conference are some of the only specifically VA awards that there are going. So sometimes you have to hunt a little deeper. Like I think I was looking at the Federation of Small Business Awards. They're quite good ones to look at because they're regional as well, so you can make your way in slowly, but they don't have a VA award. You've got to look for a place to insert yourself as a sole trader or a limited company or something like that. So that's that's certainly another way to go about finding awards, is to to look in different places.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, let's roll on to the question then. So carry on, Pam.
Hi, it's Pam here. I was going to say thank you for the mention. I was going to say I didn't actually know what a VA was until I met Steph, and the incredible work that you do, and the kind of the online business manager work that you do. So I think it's what you said there was really prevalent. I think it's important that you do reach out wider than your network, because I think that gives people an understanding of all the incredible work that you do, the amount of the efficiency and the robustness of the work, you know. So I think there's something definitely in what you said there in terms of making sure that other people outside the traditional network that you operate in knows about you, and you have champions and sponsors outside that. Because as soon as Steph won that award, I mean, we've got a WhatsApp group, haven't we, for the Accelerator group. There's over, I think, 158 50 entrepreneurs in that group, and everybody was shouting and screaming, weren't they, when you won that award, Steph? I think you saw it after the event. So I think it's important to have allies.
Absolutely, and that's a really key point. Thank you, Pam. So yeah, it was really interesting when I actually won that award. I hadn't even got back from receiving my award and having my photograph taken, and I sat down and picked up my phone, and Pam had on my behalf gone and told the world, and literally it was all over social media. Business owners in the West Midlands and the rest of the UK knew about my success before I'd even done anything, and that's the power, you know, that these kind of things can have. And in terms of the knock-on effect for business, it's a really, really, really great tool to have. So definitely widening your networks and reaching out to other business owners as well, I'd say is a big thing. So okay, let's move on then to where can we find awards. So Katie's obviously, we've talked about, you know, looking outside of just the VA industry. We mentioned OIVAC and some of the specific VA specific conferences. Amanda, obviously your awards are probably one of the biggest in the UK.
I think so. Well, as far as I'm aware, for VA specifically, the UK VA Awards are the biggest ones in the UK. But I would look at things like you've mentioned OIVAC. If we think internationally a second, just VAs, you've got the OIVAC ones, you've got IVAA, who are the International Virtual Assistants Association, predominantly based in America and the sort of that side of the coast, or that side of the world. But actually, they do have candidates in Europe and places like that, so it is worth thinking there. And knowing that we've got Luella on the call as well, who supports clients both in Australia, the UK and the Philippines and around the world, it's also looking at places like Australia as well, because Australia have their own VA awards and their own associations. So for those that listen to this on the replay and think, actually, I'm not based in the UK, where else is there? Think about what VA associations there are around the globe and look at those from that VA specifically. And then it is regional. There's a lot of regionals, FSB, Chamber of Commerce, Small Business Awards, SME Awards. There's, you name your location or your industry, quite often there is a category that you can merge yourself into. And that's a really good way of, or infiltrate is another way I like to think of it sometimes. So to give you an example, not as a VA, but when I was a VA, just a VA coach and trainer, God, that sounds so wrong, but you know what I mean. So when I moved from VAing, but into VA coaching and training, I was nominated for the Ex-Forces in Business Awards. So which for me was absolutely awesome, because I am a military veteran, 23 years in the Royal Navy, and somebody nominated me in their business awards. And it was for my work as a VA and then moving forwards into becoming a VA coach, and for the work that I had done with military veterans, military spouses, as well as normal people. And by that, I mean the lovely world of VAs that I work with, because military spouses are a unique brand because they're constantly moving. They are working in that global workplace because their husbands are moving generally, and things like that. I've had a few where it's the other way around, but 9 times out of 10, it's a female that's moving with her husband. And so I was put up. Now, this category, when I first was put up for this award, really annoyed me. Okay, now I can share this. Have we got any men on the call? Actually, I can share this with you. I was nominated for Champion of Women. Okay, now as a military veteran who worked in a predominantly male environment, that title annoyed the crap out of me, because I was like, I'm not just a champion of women, I work with men and women. Okay, 97% of my audience are women, but what about the poor 3% of men? I look after them just as well. And I've got really grumpy, and I was like, I'm not going to proceed. And I was like, hold on a second. No. What persuaded me was the award ceremony. It was a big gala dinner in London, black tie, and got to wear nice frock and medals and all that. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll carry on. But initially it was that category, Champion of Women. So why am I sharing that with you is I would never have ever put myself up for an award that was Champion of Women. And what you have to do is sometimes look past the title of the award and actually look at what it was talking about, that actually the award was recognising. And that'll come into when we talk about what awards are looking for. But that's the reason I share that with you, is because actually Champion of Women, no. Champion of Business Owners, yes. And it's about looking at what the text is saying it's going for, rather than just that award piece. I'm very conscious that I've just been talking loads there, and I'm really sorry. But two other places I want you to look at. Okay, there is a website called Boost Awards. Now, Boost have a mailing list, and every month they will send you an email of what awards there are in around the country, etc. Now, the reason I want you to look at that, though, is yes, for your own VA businesses, and you might have to put your big girl knickers on to apply for some of them, but also to keep an eye out for your clients. Imagine going to your client and saying, hey, have you seen there's an accountant's award, or there's an estate agent's award, or there's the mortgage strategy awards, or there's... Your clients are going to love you if you can go, hey, by the way, have you thought about entering these, or why not enter these? Because also then what that does is it makes them think about you as well, and actually how could they nominate you for an award in something else. So this is all about sort of that reciprocal sort of marketing. So you've got the Boost Awards. There is another one, and I was saying to the ladies, or in particular to Steph before this call, there's another one that sends an email out every month, and I cannot for the life of me think what that company is called at the moment. It's either SF Awards or SFJ Awards or something, but there is an email that I receive once a month that tells me awards across the country in every industry and their closing dates. Can I find it? No. Have I searched high and low this morning? Yes. Have I scrolled the internet this morning? Yes. Can I still find it? No. Guarantee it will arrive in my inbox later on today, and I'm going to send it to Steph and say, please share with everybody, because I cannot for the life of me think what it's called. And there's one other site that I found this morning whilst on my search for my one that I can't find, which is called Crafted by August. And they're another register of awards. Now, being honest with you, why do I want to find those registers? Because I want to make sure my awards are on them, and I want to make sure my date's on them, because that's marketing for me to get my awards out to the wider community. But actually what I love about them is that email that says, have you thought about entering these awards? And so I want to share those with you. Those are my top ones. I don't know about yours, Steph. Where do you find your awards for entering?
To be honest, for me, it's networks. The Entrepreneurs Circle, that's one that you and I, Amanda, have both been part of. They run their annual Entrepreneurs Awards. And they've got a specific category, Best Business Enabler, which I've been a finalist in 4 times, and I've refused to enter again because I think but still I can say I'm 4 times, shortlisted as Best Business Enabler of the Year. And so again, that's an example, it doesn't say Best VA, and it does include other freelancers that support businesses. But when you, like you were saying, Amanda, when you actually read the criteria, it's screaming out, we want a VA to win this. Also, yeah. I thought. But
I like that phrase actually, though, enabler, because actually for a lot of VAs, that's what we're doing, is we're enabling somebody else to do something. And so actually, top tip, that's a really good word to get into an awards application and things like that, because it's not about you, it's about what you're doing with your clients and supporting your clients.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. I'm kind of conscious of time, and there's still so much we wanted to talk about, so I'm gonna skip on to the next question. So we were going to talk a little bit about what judges, so tips, I guess, for writing an application, submitting an application, conducting an awards interview, or being part of an awards interview. I guess if we start with you, Amanda, what do judges look for when we're applying for awards? Are there any specific things? I know it depends on the award, but are there any, like, you know, general things that you really look for in a winner?
In broad handfuls, I'd say choose awards that align with your business goals. First off, that's you when you're thinking what awards to enter. But top tips for consistency. So making sure that your website and your social media are all consistent. So if you say you do this, make sure it's consistent across the other platforms, which sounds really, really silly, but that's one of the big things. Do you know what? I personally can forgive a spelling mistake, but there are judges out there who cannot forgive a spelling mistake and who get really, really grumpy when, as VAs, especially if we say we offer a proofreading service, who get really grumpy if they see a spelling mistake or a typo. Personally, I can forgive those because I realise sometimes in the nervousness, we press send and then think, I haven't checked it. So actually, do you know what? Checking your application or asking a critical friend or a trusted friend to check it on your behalf. My biggest top tip, though, is the military have an acronym, and it is in the real world, and teachers quite often know this one, RTFQ. Read the insert swear word question. So read the question and answer the question you're being asked rather than the question you want to answer. Okay, now you can tweak your answers in order to give the information that you want to share with the judges, but actually what the judges are looking for is, have you answered the question they have asked you? Simplest ones that I see in the VA awards that I run is they will ask you, are you a sole trader or a limited company? And then they'll ask you for your limited company number. How many people do you think actually fill the next bit in and give me the company number? Less than 50%. And I'm like, you've just told me you're a limited company, do that. But then as a limited company, what do I go and check before I read any further on the application form? Is I go and look at the website to check that that limited company number is on the website. So it's about following the sort of dots and making sure that everything is consistent. Be honest. How many times have I seen people sort of big themselves up? If you don't do something, tell the judges that you don't do it and tell them or why you don't do it or why it's not relevant to your business. But so, for example, VA awards, we ask, what do you do for corporate social responsibility? Now, that phrase is a bit of a buzzword. And people go, oh, I don't do anything for CSR. Or actually, it's not a big thing in my business. Oh, but I do this for charity. Well, do you know what? That comes under CSR. So, but for me, just explain what it is that you want them to do. So being honest, answer the question or RTFQ, answer all the questions and follow the word count. So if the judges say they want 100 words or 200 words, don't give them 1,000 words. Or if they ask for a short thing, don't give them a ream. But at the same time, if they ask for 200 words, don't give them 10. There's normally a reason what they're trying to do here. So answer the question, use the word count. This is quite a scary one for some of you, and it used to scare me and still scares me, is connect and research the judges. So connect with them on social media, look at them on LinkedIn, you'll quite often pick up what they're likely to be looking for from some of their things that are out there, okay? That doesn't mean your application has to be pink to match my brand or anything like that, but it does mean you might just want to think about those things. So for example, okay, those of you that know me well will know I talk about core values. My core values are right the way through my website. I write social media posts about VAs living by their core values. Do you know what? If you tell me your core values in an application form, or what's important to you and why, you're more likely to stand out to me than somebody that tells me something that's completely irrelevant and not really about their business. So just think about what you can tie in to it. And if you're going to connect with the judges and be visible to them, well, just be visible for the right reasons and whatever. I always say, don't swear on social media. Very occasionally you might see me do it, but normally you won't. I tend to not talk about religion or politics on social media because actually they can be polarizing, and especially during an awards application. I recently saw a VA not get a client as a result of her political rants on Twitter. And it was on her business page, etc. And the client turned around and said, I don't want to work with you because of that. Do you know what? It works the same in the awards category sometimes. People will go, okay, there's a time and a place, and your business is not always the place to do that sort of thing. And then my final top tip is take a copy of your submission, because if there's an awards panel interview, quite often they want to ask the questions that you've already potentially answered in that thing. So with the interviews that the awards panel did with Steph and Paddy and Katie, is we were tasked with asking questions that they had already answered. And actually interestingly with that, we weren't shown their answers. So we didn't know what their answers were. It was completely blind to us, although I think they thought we knew what those answers were and we didn't. But it helps you. It helps because, do you know what? It's quite scary talking to judges. Yeah, been there, done that. Scary. Scary for judges too, by the way. But what they want you to do is, if you're having a real blonde moment and you can't remember anything, or your mind goes completely blank and you're going, I don't know who I am, I don't even know what I did this morning, sort of thing, what you can do is you can look at your notes and go, well, actually, I've done this, I've done that, and these are the things I'm really proud of over the last year, etc. Because your awards application is an opportunity for you to go under the hood of your business. And actually, what am I doing? What's working well? What would even be better if? So www.ebi, what's working well, even better if. And actually, you can use that to share information with the judges. Judges quite often want to know what you're going to do in the future as well. How are you going to move this forwards? Where are you going to take it? And that's your chance to shine to them. Okay? Those are my top tips. I've probably got more, but those are the top ones.
I think that's brilliant, Amanda. Thank you. So many great tips there. You've actually covered quite a few that I was going to say, actually.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. It's brilliant. I think we're probably all on the same page a bit. So yeah, I mean, already, like, be prepared, be assertive. Do you know, one of the big things for me, actually, that I'd written down here was be kind. I remember once being part of a panel where the person being interviewed was talking down their competition. And personally, I mean, maybe there's a time and a place for it. Maybe it might be true. But in my mind, actually, you want to focus on the positives, particularly when you're talking to judges. And I kind of feel like it's much better to just demonstrate why you're the best. And talking down the competition isn't necessarily gonna work in your favour. The way that I see it is, if you're the best, you don't need to worry about who's behind you, and you'll be able to kind of shine your light anyway, regardless of what the other's doing. So I definitely avoid any negativity if you can. Judges tend to like, I think, enthusiasm and optimism and excitement. So they're the things, certainly, that I feel from the feedback I think I've had over the years as well. They're the things that judges seem to tell me that they really like to hear. I think you've actually said all the others. And be creative. I think that's the other thing. That was the big thing for me, about it is okay, I think, and Amanda might disagree with me here. I'm not sure I want to tell her. But I think you can use creative license with your answers as well. You can tweak your answers to, you know, to fit a question. I'm not saying lie. Don't ever lie.
I agree with you on that. It is about being creative, but answer the question, but you can take them down the path you want to go. Actually, you've just said something else about being creative, which has just sparked one. Katie said something earlier about having done one application, you've got your set answers, etc. And you can tweak them. And what I loved is you said you can personalize them to that application. And that's a big thing. It's about personalizing them to the application. I have been a judge on the UK VA Awards prior to buying the company for the last 6 years, 5 years, 6 years, 6 years. You would be surprised at how many people have cut and pasted their original answers into those applications year on year. Now, having judged them for so many years, and not always the same category, I have seen some of these over the years. So that means that spelling mistake that I forgave in year 1, I'm less forgiving of in year 5 or 6. I will just add that. But it is about that creative and sharing. So are you, Steph, you're right, be creative, be positive, but actually think, and this actually event came out of that, is you were asked the question of, actually, if I win the awards, how will I share my award win? And you said, actually, do you know what, I'll put a webinar on that does X, Y, Z. Okay. If you don't use social media, don't tell the judges you're going to share your award win on social media, because actually one of the things the judges do is goes to look at your award, your social media, and they go, we haven't posted in 12 months. So what difference does it make for you sharing your award win on social media? Be honest and say, actually, do you know what? I'm not very active on social media, but I'll put it on my signature block to all my clients, or I'll send an email out to my connections, or I'll shout about it at networking. That holds as much power as saying, I'm going to put it on social media and not do anything with it. So that creativity bit really stands out. So this webinar that we're all listening to today, and I get to talk lots at, is as a result of Steph being creative in her answers. This is how I'm going to share and help other people, because that's that being kind bit. I am willing to help others advance their applications in awards, and this is how I'm going to do it. And so for me, they all tie in there, and I think that's a really nice way to pull it together for you.
Absolutely, yeah, thank you. What about you guys, Paddy, Katie? Is there anything else that you think we've missed?
I think what Amanda said is really important about personalising the application. But I think it sparked something for me that just made me think, like, you've got to try and get your personality across and who you are in every part of the application. So what I tried to do is think of core values, the things that make me me, and by an extension of that, my business, because my business is me. I'm a sole trader. It's all me. That there isn't really a difference between me and my business. And so every question that I answer, whether it's written or when I'm trying to think of it in an interview, I will try to hold those core beliefs inside and formulate an answer around them. But equally, you have to remember that each awards has its own personality. I mean, yes, they're there to build you up, but they're also there at the end of the day to build themselves up too, and to build and to make money a lot of the time. Yeah. And so you've got to work out how you can help them to do that as well. So it's a case of using your personality, but also looking at them and seeing, what is it that they want? What are their core values? What makes this award special and different to any other award? And show that you know that inside your application. Make a real effort to show that you have looked at their website, you have researched the people who are a part of it, because I think people will pick up on that and they will appreciate it, instead of, as you say, just giving a cut pasted answer, which is very obviously, I think all cut and pasted answers are obviously cut and pasted, and you should never try and do that. You should, like I say, use what you've already done as a base, but always personalize it, both to make sure that your personality comes through, but also that you're catering to the personality of the awards that you're applying to.
I think for me as well, one of the other things that I would say, because all these are great tips that I really will take it on board for any other awards I apply for. But also the judges are human. So, speak to them like they are, and be yourself. Try and be as relaxed as possible, and just accept that these are people who are just listening to you talk about your business, and talk about it with the most honest outlook that you can about it. I didn't actually attend the interview in person because on the morning I was getting dressed and I got pinged that I couldn't go because of COVID. So I didn't attend in person. So I went to this interview completely frazzled, brain going, oh my God, I've had all these things prepared to show them. And I went to it frazzled. And then at the time, they made me feel so at ease because they were like, we understand, this is the way life is at the moment. But also their compassion towards you, just, treat them as humans, as somebody who knows what they are talking about, and that's the reason they're there, and they understand that life is happening around you as well.
Totally. And also, do you know something that I was told when I was applying for jobs teaching was one of the feedbacks I got from a job that I didn't get? And I've always been one of these people who I do really well on application forms. I'm really good at writing application forms, but interviews I am not very good at because I'm a nervous talker, and because I don't really have a filter quite often. And because I don't really believe in myself. That's part of why I entered the awards this year. Was my business plan at the end of 2021 said, begin to believe in yourself more, do that by entering some award ceremonies. But I think the feedback that I got from one of my interviews teaching was, she said, instead of going into it feeling like you're not good enough and feeling like you're sort of really lucky to be there and you really hope that they'll give you the job, she said, be an actor, go in and put on the personality of somebody who deserves to be there. Even if you can't believe it yourself, act as if you are that person, as if they're lucky to be seeing you. And not in a sort of a big, brash and bold way, but just in a way that says, I deserve to be here and I deserve to be having this conversation with you. And you know what? The next interview I went for, I did that and I got the job. So I don't think I managed it very well with my interview for the West Midlands PA Awards, which was a lot of nervous talking, but it's a really good top tip. I really wish I'd remembered it now.
It's a very, very good tip, definitely. It's probably easier said than done, but it also comes with practice. But that's a brilliant tip. Well, look, I'm mindful of everybody's time, and there was one final topic that I wanted to quickly look at, which was what to do when you do win or when you are shortlisted. Because actually, up until this point, we've talked about applications and what people are looking for and what it does for your business. But actually, the real benefits of these come from what happens afterwards. So I have a few sort of key things that I do for any award before, during and after. So number one, call the papers, write the press release. So for every award that I get shortlisted for, whether I win or not, so before the West Midlands PA Awards, I had 2 press releases written, one announcing me as the winner, one announcing me as a runner-up and congratulating the winner. And it was written in a blank space for whoever the winner was. And then literally, on the evening the awards were announced, I had a VA ready to just press go and send it out to all the papers. As it happens, we didn't need the runner-up one. Sorry, girls. But I think a lot of VAs in that situation probably wouldn't think about a press release. Again, when we go back to imposter syndrome and not wanting to blow your own trumpet, it's really, really important that you do that. And you know what? People love to celebrate other people, particularly online magazines, things like VA Pro. A lot of so it's certainly in the Business Desk is another one, a sort of an online sort of news site. You don't have to be sending it to the Guardian. You can just be sending it to your local newspaper. But they will often print it, even if they only print it on their online version. It might not go in a printed newspaper, but they might well, write a small article about you. And all of that stuff is brilliant, marketing for your business. And it really can help to elevate the status of you and your business. So I would definitely always write a press release, get it posted on your blog, get it sent out to local journalists, send it out to your local networks, send it to me. And then the other thing is maxing out on social. Amanda made a good point about if you're not active on social media anyway, you don't want to force the point by suddenly splashing it all over social if you're not active anyway. But if you are, definitely make sure you talk about it. And if you're not comfortable doing it yourself, get somebody to do it for you. Very often the first place I put it is on my business pages, so on Facebook and LinkedIn, but on the company page, not my personal profile. And then I'll go, and I'll sometimes even talk about it, so it's not me talking, it's the company talking. And then I'll go and share it from there, which feels a little less scary. It feels a little less like egotistical, I suppose, if you're worried about things like that. And then the other thing is congratulate your other nominees, your fellow competitors. Definitely, that's something, I think it's a nice thing to do, but I think it's also, it demonstrates something special, I think, if you're sort of humble in victory or in defeat. And make sure also you update your credentials. So update your LinkedIn profile, update your email signature, update your website, get that logo everywhere, whether it's shortlisted or whether you're a winner, and totally do everything you can to max out on that. Anything else there, Amanda?
I also think prior to this call, we were talking about, should we be paying for awards and things like that? And quite often we will receive a random email that will say, you have won this award, and by the way, you just need to pay us this amount of money to get the certificate, or this amount of money to get the logo, this amount of money to do the thing. Do you know what? It's not worth it, those type of particular awards, as hard as it is for me to say that to you, because some of you might think, yeah, but I'm the best at doing this, etc. But don't, and the reason I share this in this particular category is, don't think, oh, well, that's okay, I'll go and take their logo and just add it to my site and say I've won it. In those particular instances, I would say, hey, great to receive an email today saying I've won this, but I wouldn't worry about those logos and those particular things, in all honesty. I think this is about researching your awards and knowing that those awards that you're entering are credible. And it is about saying congratulations to your peers who you may have won or may not have won, and those sorts of things. And this sounds almost selfish saying this, but congratulate or thank the awards people, because do you know what they then do is share your socials and share your blog posts and share your thing, because actually it's marketing for them. Now, I don't make money from the UK VA Awards. This is part of me giving back to the community and actually raising awareness of VAs to the business world and things like that. So when I receive a thank you, actually, it feels pretty damn good, being honest with you, because that's honesty is the best policy here. It feels pretty good, but I am likely to share your message, because all of a sudden I'm getting in front of your network as well, or other VAs and things like that. So I think it is almost just raise everybody's profile. And if you think about it, those of you that entered the West Midlands Awards, Daniel also thanked his sponsors. He thanked the venue where the events were at. He thanked the people who played. He thanked judges. He thanked whatever. Because actually what it's doing is it's getting in front of everybody's audience and things like that. So just think how you can maximize reach, not necessarily exposure, but reach, and how for everybody involved in the process. I think it's a really nice one there.
100%, yeah, great one. Well, I think that's about all we've got time for. I was hoping to have a little bit of time left over for questions. Were there any burning questions from anybody? I appreciate this is an awful lot of content, and I imagine there'll be plenty for you to go away and think about. No questions? Wonderful. Okay. Were there any final comments from any of you guys? Amanda, Paddy, Katie?
No, thank you very much for having me. And hopefully, actually, can I do a plug?
Absolutely. Where can
Okay,
we apply, Amanda?
so the VA Awards are part of the VA Conference website, so www.vaconference.co.uk, and there is a button on there that says Awards. Now, that website is in the process of being updated, but it's still live and still active at the moment. We currently are still accepting applications for Best Newcomer, so that's those who have been in business less than 15 months as at the 31st of December 21. And applications need to be in by the 14th of January. So if you're interested, ping me a message, either via social, email, etc., or via the website, express your interest and we can get you the forms to do. And we're also still accepting applications for national categories of Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. Now that's 15 months in business as at the 30th of September 21. And applications need to be in by the 31st of December. Now, I've bamboozled loads of dates there. If you want to know if you're eligible, ping me a message and I will send you the appropriate form. So somebody's just asked a question. Is there the potential for a new category for those that are not based in the UK market, but have a UK market? Kathy, that's something we're looking at the moment, but I can't say yes or no. Having bought the awards this year, the awards are running under the current rules. We've got the same judging panel. So those of you who think, oh, I haven't trained with VACT, can I enter them? Yes, you can. We have an independent set of judges who look across the board, across all training providers, all coaches and all that rubbish. But we look across the board at all candidates that enter the awards. This year, the rules are still all exactly the same. But actually, we are looking at how can we update them, refresh them. And it was really easy. Paddy, you said something about making it easy and knowing where you're at every step of the journey. And that's something I wrote down from this session today, because I don't think we necessarily do it the easiest way. And for me, this is about making life easy to get the right people to apply so that we can showcase everybody. So that was something I wrote down.
But I think it's also because we are also busy, and we're not just busy in our own businesses, we're busy in other people's businesses.
Agree.
So when you do something like the awards, it's nice for them to go, okay, you need to do this now, or this is coming up, you need to do this. It's quite nice to have those prompts.
But I also like what Steph said, it's also a marketing activity, and
yes.
Actually it's about putting the time aside to see it as part of your business and part of your marketing. And that comes across actually sometimes in application forms as to who has paid care and attention to answering that RTFQ bit versus those who are just doing it for the sake of doing it, in all honesty.
Absolutely, yeah.
So my closing comment would be just apply.
Just do it.
Just
JFDI.
do it. Yeah. Just do it.
JFDI.
Yeah, 100%. Amanda, one final question from Kate, slightly off topic. It says, will the VA conference be part of the PA show next year? Has that been decided? No. Okay.
PA show last year and this year, or last year, ran their own agenda, and VA conference wasn't part of PA show's agenda. Having just bought it, I'm waiting for some conversations, but VA conference is going back to being a destination event, and my intention, and I'm very clear on my intention here, is to make it a destination conference and gala dinner with award ceremony. Because for me, we do need to invest in our own training and our own professional development and take time to build and grow our businesses, and that's where the conference elements comes in. But the gala dinner is actually a way for me to say, not me to say, for those that attend the gala dinner, almost of saying thank you to their partners and bringing their loved ones or team members, etc., and recognizing that actually we're not in this on our own. So you all have you might be the boss of your business, you might be the managing director if you're a limited company, you might be a sole trader, but you have people who have a vested interest in your business, husbands, wives, children, friends, etc. And you might want to bring them to an event that says, hey, thank you for supporting me. And that's the sort of thing that I want to make the gala dinner being, is about recognizing it's not just us, but actually it is about our support train who are on that journey with us to get us where we want to be. So I've just seen the comment actually that says PA show is a destination event. It is. It's also very expensive to hold the conference there, in all honesty. And I want to make this so that we all get the benefits of professional development and things like that. And the next question I know somebody will say is, where's it going to be held? Don't know. I could make it a destination event and you all come to Bournemouth to the seaside, but reality is I am aiming middle of the country, but I don't know yet where it is. And before all the event planners volunteer to host it for me, because I know there'll be some of those as well, because you wouldn't believe how many of those I've had as well. Yeah, thank you. We're getting there. All I can say is 2022 is going to be very different for the conference and very different for the awards. But I am very grateful, and I'd love to put this on record, for all of the work that John Palmer has done over the years with keeping the VA Awards alive and the VA Conference alive, because actually John's done some great work over the years. But it's nice to bring it back to VACT.
Love it. Yeah, thank you so much. Well, I'm very mindful of everybody's time, so I think we'll end it there. But thank you to our wonderful panelists, to Paddy and Katie and Amanda. Thank you so much for your time and your wonderful insights. And thank you all for joining us. I really hope you found it useful. And if you do go ahead and enter some awards, please tell us about it. Come and give us a shout out. If you do want critical friend, there's people around in the network that you can come and ask for help and advice from. Amanda's like, no, not me.
No, don't ask me, because I can't judge them if you ask me.
That's true. Don't ask Amanda. But you can ask the rest of us.
Enter my awards, but don't ask me to do the critical friend bit. I'm not allowed, unless it's for generic business awards, and then I don't mind, but I can't do it for VA awards, okay?
Indeed. But yeah, keep us all posted on your progress, and if we don't speak again, have a very Merry Christmas and all that jazz, and we'll see you in 2022, hopefully all as award winners. Yeah, thanks for your time, everybody. Bye.
Bye, guys.